Aya Wilson got caught on a hot mic saying the quiet part out loud. She admitted the attacks on Caitlin Clark were planned. Not an accident, not just rough basketball planned. And once you hear the clip, a lot of things start making sense. The shoulder checks, the elbows, the shoves that got waved off as physical defense. The real question isn't whether Wilson's jealous. It's how far she's willing to take it. And we've got the answer. Stick around because we're playing that moment for you and breaking down why Wilson behaves this way against Clark. As we got all the receipts, why do you think Aya is so jealous? Sound off in the comments below. It happens all the time in the men's game. It happens still a lot in your guys' game, but it was made such a big deal on that stage. What was your guys' take as pros? I was laughing. Every day. It's a part of the game. Happens every day, B. I was like, if we're overreacting at this, good lord. Where's our game going? We say worse things to white boys playing basketball when we play. 100. Laughter your first time. How do you explain a rivalry that started before Clark even got drafted? Before she signed a single pro contract? Before she put on a Fever jersey? Wilson was already taking shots at her. Back when Clark was tearing up college basketball at Iowa, Wilson found ways to bring the conversation back to one thing. Rings. She'd frame it like basketball analysis, saying Clark hadn't won a national championship. Like that erased everything else Clark was doing on the court. It sounded like a stat check. It landed like a shot at her legitimacy. Caitlin Clark, I'm sure you saw, just became the all-time scoring leader of women's college basketball. I'm curious. Where would you rank her amongst all-time college players in your opinion? Ooh, that's tough because she got to win one. I feel like that college is one of those spaces where you got to win 1-2 for them to even have your name in the conversation. And it took me 3 years to win mine, so it's hard. And here's the context that makes it worse. Clark's run at Iowa didn't just break television records. It broke college on-court records that stood for decades. Her games were pulling in numbers bigger than NBA playoff games. People who never watched a second of women's basketball were tuning in just to see her shoot from 30 foot out. Meanwhile, Wilson's titles at South Carolina, real championships, real accomplishments, suddenly felt like old news to casual fans who only cared about what was happening right now. And what was happening right now was Clark. So, instead of crediting what Clark was doing for the sport, pulling in fans who never cared before, filling arenas that used to sit half empty, Wilson kept steering every conversation back to championships. Like rings were the only stat that mattered. Like assists, viewership, and full arenas didn't count for anything if you didn't have a title. Then came the moment that really lit things up. Wilson was caught in the Final Four, saying Clark's attention came from being privileged. Aaliyah Boston, cheering, us as women, Paige remind me a lot of you. It's not really about me. She knows if she knows how her privilege has gotten her to that point, and also she's good at basketball also. But she understands her privilege. And I think she's over the top in a sense. She remind me a lot of you. And I mean that's a compliment. This isn't surprising since she already said Caitlin Clark was only popular because she's white. First of all, why are you immediately looking at someone based on their race or level of privilege? Why not look at someone's skill set or their character? Not from her game. Not from the logo threes or the no-look passes. From who she is. That comment didn't just land badly. It landed like a grenade. Because plenty of players in the league, including black players who had every reason to back Wilson if this was really about race, came out and said the opposite. Clark's game earns the hype. Angel Reese said it. Others said it too. Clark wasn't getting love because of a marketing department decision. She was getting love because she was doing things on a basketball court nobody had done before. And the numbers back that up completely. Clark was running an offense like a point guard twice her age, racking up assist numbers that made grown men in the NBA take notice. She was pulling up from 35 feet and hitting shots that looked like video game glitches. She made every teammate around her better, and you can check the stats on that. Players' numbers went up playing next to her. That's not privilege. That's production. But Wilson kept going back to the championship talk anyway, over and over, like a broken record stuck on the one note that made her feel better. And looking back now, you can see exactly what that was. It wasn't one bad take from a frustrated competitor. It was the first page of a playbook Wilson would keep running for years, needling Clark's success any chance she got. Finding an angle, a stat, anything, to take the shine off what Clark was building. Because once Clark turned pro and the money started rolling in, that's when Wilson's jealousy stopped hiding behind basketball talk completely. Let's talk about the money, because that's where things really got ugly. Clark signed the biggest shoe deal in WNBA history with Nike. A deal reportedly worth 8 figures over the life of the contract. And it wasn't just a shoe deal. It came with her own signature shoe, her own line. The kind of deal only a handful of players in league history ever got close to. And Wilson's reaction wasn't excitement for sport. It was resentment dressed up as commentary. I kept thinking the best player in the league should have her own shoe. You need my thoughts. You already know my thoughts. Laughter, but that's how young kids, when you're a fan of LeBron, you're a fan of Aya. I'd love to get your thoughts on that. She needs her own shoe. Let me answer that. She is the MVP, 2-time MVP. I'll toot her horn, cause she won't. Olympic gold medalist, best defensive player 2 years running. Her team's like, stop. As expected, Wilson played the victim, acting like she'd been overlooked, like she didn't already have a signature shoe deal with Nike in the works herself. But reports at the time said otherwise. Her deal was already moving forward. So the Poor Me routine wasn't really about facts. It was about keeping the attention on herself while Clark's rookie season blew up bigger than anyone in the league expected. Instead of riding that wave, the kind of wave that lifts every player's paycheck, every arena, every TV deal, Wilson spent weeks needling Clark's rookie year on podcasts and in interviews. Little jabs here, little comments there, always framed like she was just keeping it real. But it added up fast. And then came the Time Athlete of the Year award, which Clark won off a season that broke the assist record, broke the three-point record, and sold out arenas in cities that had never sold out a women's basketball game in their lives. Wilson's response? She chalked it up to a race thing in an interview, like the award had nothing to do with what Clark actually did on the floor. Aya Wilson is her name. Quote, "It doesn't matter what we all do as black women, we're still going to be swept underneath the rug. That's why it boils my blood when people say it's not about race, because it is. That's crazy, because literally nobody asked, and sources close to Aya Wilson decided to answer anyway. You can't talk about a season with a new assist record and a new three-point record and call the recognition random. Arenas across the country, cities that never cared about the WNBA before, were selling out because of what Clark was doing on the court night after night. Reducing all of that to a race thing wasn't just wrong, it disrespected every single stat Clark put up that year. Then came the speaking deals. Clark started getting corporate appearances, brand deals, invitations to speak at events way outside basketball. And Wilson found a way to bring those up, too. Always with an edge. Always framed like Clark was getting handed things instead of earning them. Compare that to how Clark carried herself in public. Quiet, team first, always redirecting credit to her teammates. Wilson, meanwhile, turned almost every interview into a grievance session. Another chance to bring up what she didn't have instead of what she did. And sponsors noticed that. Companies don't want drama attached to their name. They want someone fans want to watch. Someone who makes people feel good, not someone who makes headlines for complaining. Clark was building a brand people wanted to root for. Wilson was building a reputation, one interview at a time. All on record, all in her own words. That reputation was about to catch up with her, because the same pattern you just heard, the jabs, the grievances, the edge in every interview, that's exactly what shows up in the hot mic clip everyone's been talking about. Now, we get to the clip itself. Wilson sat down on a podcast, relaxed, chatting like it was just another guest appearance. The kind of setting where guards drop and people forget the mic is still hot. She wasn't doing a press conference. She wasn't fielding questions from a reporter looking for a headline. She was just talking loose, comfortable, the way you talk when you think nobody outside the room is really listening. All NBA players go harder on white boys on the court. That's just how it always is. Even Larry Bird. Larry Bird got guarded by a white guy. He was like, "Y'all don't have any brothers?" Yeah, that's what Larry Bird said. He felt disrespected. Laughter, He felt disrespected. I believe that's like the unwritten Hooper rules. And that's exactly when it came out. Wilson started talking about how her team approaches games against Clark. And the words weren't about scouting reports or defensive schemes. She admitted they go in hard on Clark on purpose. Not hard as in competitive, not hard as in physical basketball, hard as an intentional, targeted plan before the ball even goes up. That's not strategy talk. That's a personal target set out loud on tape. And that lands completely different than normal trash talk. Players chirp at each other all the time. That's part of the game. Nobody bats an eye at a little noise before tip-off. But this wasn't noise. This confirmed exactly what fans have been screaming about for 2 seasons. The hard fouls, the extra shoves, the elbows that seem to find Clark more than anyone else on the floor. Fans called it targeting. The league called it physical basketball. Wilson just called it what it actually was. It happens all the time in the men's game. It happens still a lot in your guys' game, but it was made such a big deal on that stage. What was your guys' take as pros? I was laughing. Every day. It's a part of the game. Happens every day. I was like, if we're overreacting at this, good lord. Crazy. Where's our game going? We worse things to white boys playing. Basketball when we play. 100%. But Jacob, it just plays back exactly what got said. And once you line it up with everything else, it stops being shocking and starts making complete sense. Remember the college jabs about championships? The privilege comment? The race thing comment about the Time Award? The constant needling about shoe deals and speaking gigs? None of that was random. It was a pattern building for 2 years, and the hot mic clip is just a moment. The quiet part finally got said loud enough for a microphone to catch it. Caitlin Clark at number 6. So there you have it. She finished number 6. There is not another women's basketball player on this list. So, when y'all try to have these nonsense conversations about, who's the face of women's basketball? I mean, come on. It's not rocket science. This is not hard to figure out. Caitlin Clark is the face of female of the WNBA, clearly. But Caitlin Clark's damn near the face of basketball, period, male and female. Other players and analysts didn't waste time once the clips started making the rounds. Several came out fast calling it exactly what it was, an admission, not a joke, not a slip-of. The tongue that got blown out of proportion. Analysts who cover the league pointed out that you don't accidentally say something like that. You say it because it's true. It's been true for a while. The reaction wasn't confusion. It was recognition, like fans finally got the proof to match what they'd been watching with their own eyes for 2 seasons. And that's the moment speculation turned into fact. No more guessing, no more. Maybe it's just physical basketball. No more benefit of the doubt. It's on tape, in her own voice, unscripted. While Wilson was busy handing the internet that gift, Nike was busy making a decision of its own. And that decision says just as much as the clip does. Here it says, in Sportico's year-end list of highest-paid female athletes of 2025, Clark ranks 6th overall, earning a combined $16 million in 2025 from salary, winnings, and endorsements. It represents a $5 million increase from 2024, when she placed number 10 with 11.1. So we up 5 MS in an injury-riddled season. This is legit, man. Am I surprised? No. I mean, it's the GOAT. It's the GOAT. I'm not surprised at all. Imagine this. You walk into a store and there they are. Aya Wilson's signature shoes sitting in the bargain bin, marked down months after they hit shelves. Not sold out, not flying off shelves, just sitting there collecting dust. While Clark's shoe hasn't even dropped yet, and people are already asking store employees when it's coming. You had the reaction at the time, the delayed and not denied post from Aya Wilson, and then, Aya's shoe comes out and so on and so forth, and that was a big rollout. And there was speculation that, Nike was worried about stepping on toes or offending anybody by launching CC shoe ahead of everybody else, even though, she got to the big deal and is the most popular and all that. But it's coming, because right now, every inch of Nike's marketing machine is locked onto Clark. Social media, commercials, billboards in major cities, all of it pointed at one athlete gearing up for her signature shoe launch. This isn't a quiet rollout, either. Nike's been building hype for months, teasing colorways, dropping short clips of Clark training, letting the anticipation build the way companies do when they know they've got something big on their hands. It's not just basketball. Nike's pushing Clark's name into golf, into other sports entirely, building her into a face that shows up everywhere, not just on a court. That's the kind of cross-sport push companies only give athletes they believe can carry a brand across audiences, not just fans of one sport. Every part of that campaign, the rollout, the billboards, the golf tie-ins, it's all built around Clark specifically. Now, compare that to Wilson's A1 line. Reports say it got a fraction of that push, a quiet release with none of the campaign weight behind it, and now it's sitting unsold on shelves months later. No billboards, no cross-sport rollout, just a shoe that came and went without much noise at all. But it's coming. And I think what it really means is, number one, Nike is going all in on Caitlin Clark after a while, after a little bit of a dormant period. Number two, 2026 is going to be just absolutely massive for her from a marketing standpoint because of that injury. And, because there's going to be such a thirst and hunger to see her play. So, here's the real question. Is this about performance on the court, or is this about a company protecting its name from a player who keeps making headlines for drama? Because Nike doesn't move money around for no reason. Companies chase attention. They chase goodwill. They want their name next to someone fans are excited about, not someone who's constantly stirring up controversy. Toxic headlines scare off exactly the kind of sponsors Wilson needs to keep her deals growing. And right now, the headlines aren't doing her any favors. Meanwhile, look at what's happening around Clark. Kelsey Mitchell's visibility has grown right alongside her. The whole Fever roster is riding this wave. More eyes on the team, more eyes on every player wearing that jersey. That's what happens when a company decides to put its full weight behind one player. It lifts everybody standing next to her, too. And the sales numbers make the picture even clearer. Clark's shoe is expected to sell out in minutes the moment it drops. The kind of demand companies dream about. Wilson's shoe, months on shelves, still hasn't sold out. Not close. That's not bad luck. That's the market speaking loud and clear, telling you exactly who fans and sponsors are choosing to put their money behind. It's one of the fans pick Clark, sponsors pick Clark, Nike pick Clark, and Wilson's shoes are sitting in a bargain bin as proof. Plain as that. No spin needed. So, here's where it lands, plain and simple. The attacks were planned. Wilson admitted it herself on tape, and the market already decided who wins anyway. You don't need a debate show to argue about intent anymore. You just press play on the clip and hear it straight from her. And none of it worked. Not the hard fouls, not the shoves, not the bitter interviews about championships and privilege and race. Clark's game kept climbing. Her brand kept climbing right alongside it. And every attempt to knock her down just added another chapter to the story fans keep watching. Clark, Boston, Mitchell, Cunningham, Hull, a full roster built to compete for real, not just chase headlines. Nike's already put its money on Clark. The billboards, the commercials, the shoe about to sell out in minutes. Wilson's shoes sit on shelves marked down, waiting for buyers who aren't showing up. The Fever are building something real, and the league's biggest star is standing right in the middle of it. Jersey sales climbing, arenas selling out, teammates getting better just by sharing the floor with her. Wilson can keep talking. The scoreboard already answered back. Why do you think Aya is so jealous? Sound off in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications as we're bringing you all the action and top stories. Click the video on the screen, and we'll see you in the next one.